So now we're in part 3, the poster. I have failed. The arena has been damaged, but not incapacitated. The games continue. In District 12, we learn about mountains, but predominantly the ones that cover the seams of coal that will provide our livelihood. Volcanoes barely get a mention. I know just enough to connect the name of the dazzling bursts of lava and the glowing streams and the cloud of ash flowing down the mountainside, enveloping everything in its path. I picture the tributes, Welly, Hull, Maisley, gasping for air, suffocating, and drop the binoculars. I can't see them, but I can see enough to imagine their terrifying end. A blast of air hits my face, thick with stinging grit, and a scent so cloying I begin to gag. I lose my footing for a moment and scramble for purchase. If the tree branches below didn't catch me, I'd be dead on the forest floor. I squinch up my eyes against the howling, toxic wind. When I pull the collar of my billowy shirt up against my face, it provides a pocket of protection from the swelling particles. As I've learned from the gas plant burn, when my shirt front refused to ignite, and again when Amper experimented with his sock in the campfire, our clothes provide a shield. This volcano is why. It has to be why. But I doubt our outfits are much help to those caught in the mountain. Am I it then? The last tribute left alive? The victor of the quarter quell? Even if the game makers are firing cannons, there's no way I could hear them between the after effects of the explosion and the roar of the wind. From what Ampert said, everyone else was over on the mountain. Perhaps some, if they bedded down near the base, could have fled to safety. I don't know though. They might outrun the lava, but not that cloud. It isn't a real volcano, but how closely did the game makers try to replicate one? Could the lava set everything on fire? What if that ginormous water tank was built so that they could quench the aftermath of the volcano? In bombing the tank, I may have destroyed any hope for those who survived the eruption. I'm too exposed up in the tree. As soon as I'm able, I shinny down and collapse on the pine needles, using the trunk to block the wind. I retreat inside my shirt. There's nothing to see anyway, with the cloud erasing the moonlight. Besides, even if I could see, what would I do? Where would I go? If the fire comes, it comes. The full force of my failure hits me. Who do I think I am? Why did I think I could change anything? That I could take on the capital with all its might and bring the Hunger Games to a standstill? Me, a 16-year-old kid from the trashiest district in Pan Am, with little schooling and no outstanding skills. I've got nothing but a big mouth and an inflated sense of my own self-importance. All foam, no beer. That's me. Near beer. Plutarch's words echo through my head, mocking me. No more implicit submission for you, Hamish Abernathy. Blow that water tank sky high. The entire country needs you to. What a bad call, Plutarch. Turns out I was built for implicit submission, head to toe, through and through, inside and out. I grind my palms into my face. What an idiot I am. What a stuck-up, self-centered, incompetent idiot I am. I don't even know if Plutarch was on the rebel side. Like as not, he's just another capital monster who's laughing his head off now. But no, that doesn't make sense, because even if the games continue, his advice helped me throw a real wrench in the works. The capital's generous, gorgeous arena has gone haywire. It isn't enough though, just a minor disruption with no real consequences. Nothing I've done is enough. Ambert's lopsided grin in the torchlight, surely his last smile. How he trusted me, and now there's not even a body to return to BT, although BT could be dead too. I find I'm crying, or maybe it's just my eyes trying to wash out the biting bits of ash. The scratches from the back claws burn like all fire, and ooze blood into my clothes. There are no star in the absorbency department. Tear-soaked, blood-soaked, misery-soaked. I lay on my side and curl around the base of the tree trunk. Oh, Lenore Dove, how did it all come to this? The moaning wind conjures up the cabin by the lake last winter. Her birthday, the best gift ever. Me singing her song, which I'm beginning to hate. Distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from the books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden from whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here for evermore. Nameless here in this world, dead and gone as I'm about to be. Will I be her lost one forevermore? Will she be haunted by me for the rest of her life? Just let me go, I cry out, furious at myself for not telling her to move on after my death, when I had the chance. I pound my head to the tree bark until blood runs, and then go limp as I await my end. All yours, President Snow. Sleep? No, I don't sleep. But I'm so exhausted by the night's excursions and the crushing weight of my despair that I achieve a sort of stupor. Hours and hours pass, I guess, because the wind quiets and the ash settles. Lenore's dove says there's no guarantee that the sun will rise, and I wish today proved her right. Nothing good awaits me. I'd rather hide in the dark. But eventually a faint daylight shows through my shirt. I don't want to come out, so I don't. Why am I even still alive? What cruel jokes are the game makers playing on me now? The humming I noticed last night still radiates from the ground. I remember it directly preceding the return of the fake sky. I put two and two together. It must be coming from the generator BT mentioned, the one just outside the arena, at the top end. Despite whatever disruption the flooding caused to the energy supply, the generator is keeping the arena running. Well, the energy supply was never our target. The brain was. Though it was damaged, enough of it is still functioning to entertain the audience. Oh, shut up. Who cares now? I tell myself. I'm sick of wallowing in my failure. Enough. It's all over. I try to go back to my stupor, but I'm too antsy. Scratching at the back of my brain are the words Mag spoke when we were about to begin our training. In the early games, I didn't ask the tributes what they wanted, because the answer seemed so obvious. You want to live. But then I realised there are desires beyond that. Mine had to do with my district partner, protecting him. We had wanted to die quick and proud with a minimum of suffering for our loved ones. I wanted to outsmart the arena, but Mags had been concerned about her district partner. I don't know if Maisie is still out there, but if she is, she might need me to help her die with her head up. And maybe some other newcomers could use a hand as well. Multiple cannons must have fired after the volcano, but I didn't hear them with everything going on. I haven't been declared the victor though, so someone else is still alive. I won't have a clue until nightfall. Instead of giving up, maybe I'll see if I can't be of some tiny use to someone else. Throw myself in front of an attacking career. Bring a newcomer some food or water. I'm pretty hungry and thirsty myself, come to think of it. I can't afford to get weak. I may as well see if my supply survives. When I pull back my shirt, I'm once again shocked by the beauty around me. I'd imagine the ash to be grey and dingy, but it's in keeping with the arena's design. They've made it clear and sparkling, so that everything seems to be coated in a layer of rock candy. Sunlight bounces off the crystals, throwing tiny rainbows around the forest. I rise, stiff and sore, and knock the stuff from my clothes. I'm tempted to put a chunk of it on my parched lips, even though I'm pretty sure where that would land me. The ash disorientates me, but after a while I manage to crunch my way back to the butterfly bush berm, where the blossoms look preserved in ice. The berm's ajar, although the mouth has gone still. No more sparks shoot from the trees. No baby deer rampage around, but I do see a few dead ones under the ash. Damage was done, for sure. Probably throughout the arena. The game makers are going to have to be very careful about where they point their cameras. Everything looks frozen, like I should be shivering, but the air's warmed and perfumed. I kick the ash from my backpack, retrieve my water and take a deep drink, leaving about half a jug. My remaining food consists of 2 potatoes, 2 rolls, 1 egg, 1 apple, and a final glass of grape juice. My belly's hollow, so I smush the egg between the rolls for a sandwich and wolf it down. I savour my last apple, then retrace my steps to the scene of Ampert's death. His skeleton has been removed, but I find my hammock and shake it out. When it's free of ash, I fold it neatly and return it to my pack. Now what? I consider going to find survivors, then realise I'm likely to run into a career as newcomers. I dig around in my feet, trying to locate the spear I abandoned, but to no avail. Do the game makers take it with his body? I uncover my knife, however, and try to retrace my steps to Ampert's axe. It takes a while before I can remember I dropped it when the earth shook and I flung it to the ground. I hunt it down and slip it to my belt. I want to carry mementos of my allies with me. My fingers go to the sunflower at my neck and find its shellac coating has dissolved in the flood, leaving it firm but impressionable. The paint job holds up, so it still looks as good as new. Too bad I don't have the blasting cap. The stuff isn't of much good without it. It needs another explosion to set it off. What would I blow up anyway? We succeeded in messing up the brain, but either it's partially working or they've been able to run the arena from the capsule. Probably it's some of both. Anyway, no chance I could get to it. At this point, the generator is also essential to continuing the games, but the only way to reach that would be to break out of the place. A tiny ray of light penetrates the gloom of my mind. Perhaps it would be possible to escape the arena and try to break the generator. All I've got is a knife and an axe, but that's not nothing. Of course, it's an incredible long shot, but so am I. Maybe I am just the guy for the job. Doubt swamps me. You can't do it, it'll never work. You're just a loser with an axe, trying to chop the capital down again. Have you really learned nothing? Maybe I haven't learned anything, and there's no chance of success, and I should double down on my implicit submission. But the truth is, what have I got to lose? Nothing, that's what. And I owe it to Ampert to try. What would Beatty do? For starters, he'd get me to the generator. He said it was at the top of the arena, and I must be close. The first thing will be to make it all the way north and find some way to break through the arena wall. I don't even know if it's made of cement or metal or some kind of force field, but I guess I'll deal with that when I get there. After consulting the sun and getting my bearings, and head north. My whole body's stiff and sore, and the straps on my backpack rub my back scratches raw. It'd be quite a sight if District 12 has been dressed in yellow, but the black conceals the bloodstains fairly well. Even though I'm still starving and thirsty, I can't afford to use any more of my meagre supplies. If I find the generator, maybe I'll celebrate with a slice of potato. The woods have patches of life, songbirds singing and insects buzzing, the sections of complete silence. I don't see any sign of the other tributes, and it's quite likely that I'll be the only one who travels this far north. That means that the muttburns will be fully loaded, but they might also be disabled. Nothing to do but keep putting one foot in front of the other. After a couple of miles, I hear a pattering in the trees, and a gentle rain begins to fall. I open up my mouth and catch a few drops on my tongue. It tastes clean, like fresh water, not like poison. Where did the game makers find it with the tank blade wide open? Did they have a reserve tank? Pipes that reach this far from the capital? I place the explosive chest high. Maybe the bottom foot or two of the tank remained intact, and they're accessing that. At any rate, I've got fresh water, and I better not take it for granted. Quickly, I unscrew the caps of my water jugs and set them in the centre of a clearing. I know it's not ideal catching stray drops, but it's the best I can do at the moment. Then I strip down to my skivvies and wash off the blood. I notice the grit under my fingernails dissolving like sugar crystals, and survey the trees. Sure enough, even the light shower melts the volcanic ash off the branches, and the runoff soaks into the ground. In a half hour, the rain stops, leaving the forest as fresh as pristine as the morning I entered it. It's a relief to have the ash gone, but I can't have caught more than a couple tablespoons of water. A wasted opportunity. One of Wyatt's tarps would have come in real handy. A mesh hammock isn't worth diddly for rain collection. You work with what you get. What I get when I reach the end of the forest is not a brick or a steel or an electrified barrier, but a tall hedge that comes to a point like a V, and stretches as far as the eye can see in both directions. On closer inspection, the plants appear to be some kind of holly, loaded with clusters of berries and sporting prickly green leaves. It's not unlike what people in 12 used to decorate at New Year's, although the berries have little black dots on their skins. Even the regular ones are poisonous, so I ignore these. I walk along the hedge, pondering how to approach it. The boughs don't look like they'd support my weight, and digging under the mulch in the base doesn't seem like an option. Then I spy a slight opening, turn sideways, and manage to slip through the foliage without getting scratched. A narrow path leads about 10 feet, then curves farther into the ledge, which appears to be quite deep. Cautiously, I begin to weave my way through the greenery on the twisty-turny path, feeling I'm heading north, but sometimes forced to diverge left or right out of necessity. It can't go on forever, I think. Eventually I will reach the end of the arena. But I don't. The path winds this way and that, sometimes reaching a dead end or coming to a fork, which requires me to make a choice. Too late I realise I should have been notching trunks or making little piles of mulch, something to mark my path because I'm hopelessly lost. I try to use the sun to orientate myself, but I swear the game makers are shifting the thing around in the sky, just to confuse me further. Trapped in a dense maze of holly, I start panicking, ploughing down paths recklessly, without any real plan, but with a rising sense of claustrophobia. Forget the northern wall. I just need to get out of this place. Perspiration pours down my face and I'm dying of thirst, but I certainly don't think I deserve a drink, given how easily I've been duped into this predicament. If the game makers decide to unleash a mutt on me, and why not, I won't stand a chance of escaping. That is not how I want Ma and Sid and Lenore Dove to see me die. So very foolishly. This goes on for hours, with me driven by a fear of taking my last breath in this spiky holiday hallucination, desperate for any change of scenery. Finally, frazzled and exhausted, I sink down onto my knees to try and collect my thoughts. The hedge has muffled the forest sounds, so just the faintest notes of birdsong reach my ears. The breeze is just too much to hope for, but if I sit very still, I can catch slight movement of air. I weigh my options. Give up, continue to bumble around, try to hack my way through the hedge with an axe. The last seems to have the most potential, but there's also something sinister about the hedge that stays my hand. With it towering over me, at least several feet thick, I feel diminished by its size, frightened of what it might harbour. Resigned to my fate, I rise to my feet and reach for the axe. As I do, a moment ahead catches my attention. I look up and see a grey rabbit watching me. I don't know if it's really the same one I shared the apple with, but it comforts me to think it is. "Hey, my friend," I say. "How are you doing?" After a few ear twitches, it turns and darts away from me. Without thinking, I follow. Maybe it can use its nose to get us out? I stay on its trail, taking that white cotton towel every turn, and after a minute or two, I see the forest at the end of the stretch. I give a whoop and sprint for the trees. The rabbit shoots out the opening, and I'm a few yards behind it. As I barrel out of the hedge, a sword blade whistles by my head, just catching the tip of my ear. I cry out and trip backwards over a dead branch. After days of isolation, broken only by allies, I've all but forgotten about the threat of the couriers. Now they've caught me completely off guard. Nothing that happens in the next minute is premeditated, only reflexive. As a girl tribute from District 4 lunges with her trident pointed at my neck, I clumsily deflect it with my left arm, and whip out my knife just in time to drive it into her gut. Rolling to the side, I encounter a leg, hamstring it, leaving her district partner writhing on the ground. Scrambling to my feet, I pull out an axe and cleave open his neck. With a single adrenaline-fueled blow, then take on the owner of the next sword, Panache. For a moment we face off, my knife and the axe against him and his sword and his shield. With the terrible groans from the wounded girl accompanying us, we circle each other. I take in the burns along his arms and legs, the cracked lips, the mad dog look in his eyes. A sense of dread fills me. He's much bigger, better armed, and crazed with pain. My eyes flick to the nearby woods, seeking an escape route. Says Panache. With a single swoop, he knocks the axe from my hand, his blade drawing blood, and then slams the shield into my chest so hard I lose my grip on the knife. Gasping for breath, I back away, hands lifted, and with only my words to defend me. I start walking fast. Whoa, Panache. Think about this. Looking bad. Killing an unarmed man. Especially me being from 12 and all. I mean, I got a 1 in training. Seems cowardly on your part. Think about your image. You wouldn't want to do something stupid. I'm not making the world's strongest argument, but the word gives them pause. I guess I have Caesar to thank for that. I jabber on, saying anything, trying to buy time. Listen, I know you're not a meathead. That chariot idea was brilliant. Sorry I swiped it. But you need to play this smart. Am I right? Else it could affect your sponsor gifts. How are you making out with those anyway? Me? I'm doing pretty well. Turns out, some people love a loser. But you, everybody knows you're going to win. You always win. Come on, at least let me slide my knife over here, so we can give these people a show. Panache gives his head a shake, like he's clearing my words from his brain. No, we already fought. You lost. Now you die. He draws back his sword, eyes locked on my throat, and I brace myself for the blow, trying to look brave and defiant and proud. Staring him down so hard, he has to admit that even if he kills me, he hasn't defeated me. In my last moment, I need to see recognition of that. What I see instead is the surprise that transforms his face, as the dart pierces his throat.